We've been a captive audience all week, and Carnival has delivered on news almost every day. We're sitting patiently in our seats and the lights are dimming. Carnival says it's showtime. Let's preview what exactly the show is going to look like right now on Island Time. Welcome back to Island Time. This is Derek. It is so great to spend a few minutes with you today discussing what we love best. It is cruising, and as Carnival showed this past week, we're back. We are going. In 3 weeks from today, that is so hard to believe, but 3 weeks from today, the Carnival Vista will welcome guests aboard as the Vista will leave for the first time and be the first Carnival ship to leave North America and provide guests with the entertaining time. We are so excited. There's going to be so much happen between now and 3 weeks from now, and Island Time's going to be there throughout the process. So please make sure you have subscribed. We've had many comments on our videos that say, Derek, I have no clue how to subscribe. If you're watching in full screen, you can't subscribe like that, which of course, you probably want to watch in full screen. So when you're done watching in full screen, exit full screen mode. You should see a button on the bottom right of your phone or your tablet, okay? And then just below the video, you should see a subscribe button, and that's how you subscribe, okay? Doing that ensures that you will be notified, okay? Turn the bell on. You will be notified of when new content is available. We're so thankful for our subscribers, and you know that we are one big community. Let's get started right now. The news yesterday for the Horizon was good news. I remember earlier in the week when the news for Galveston came out, and so many people leaving on the Galveston and leaving on the Horizon in July said, I wish that was our news. I would be so happy if the news that came out for the ships in Texas would be the same news for the ships in Florida. Well, you got exactly what you want, because that is what happened. Let's review it really quick. Those of you cruising, you probably know it, okay? But those of you who are looking to cruise, and there are many of you looking to cruise, you've waited to see what the protocols are going to be before you book. Here's what they are in summary. Number one, this is for July and August, okay? July and August, if you leave out of Texas or Florida, it's the same. You must be vaccinated, okay? You must be vaccinated if you're over 12 years old. And that means you have to have one of the vaccines that's been approved by the CDC or the WHO, which includes the AstraZeneca vaccine. Okay? If you have passengers below the age of 12, you're not totally out of the hunt yet, okay? You might still be able to cruise, okay? But you have to have already booked your cruise, paid for your cruise, and then you should have received an email, and I've got them in hand, printing them off. I've been trying to dissect them because you can imagine the words in there, the language in there is very specific. And kids under 12 can cruise through an exemption process. Okay, not every child under 12 is going to cruise. There's going to be a process that in your email, you need to click the link. If you need it, let me know. I had several ask me, for the Texas cruises, what's the link? They somehow did not see it on their email, or it's usually a blue hyperlink, and for some people, depending on your computer or phone settings, it was not blue. So when it says click here, and we hope that that word here is in blue, for some people it's not. So if you need the link, let me know. I will share it with you. Okay, but here's what Carnival has said about children under 12, and I want to read this word for word because it is so particular, okay? Here's the exemption process for both cruises out of Texas and out of Florida. As we operate to meet CDC guidelines, there would be an exemption process to accommodate a small number of guests who are unable or ineligible to be vaccinated. That would be children under 12, of course, and those who cannot have the vaccine for medical reasons. The current standard to meet the CDC's criteria for a fully vaccinated cruise, under which guests can sail without a mask and other restrictions. I'm excited about that. And that is that 95% of all guests on board are fully vaccinated. The CDC has said that, okay? And Carnival says we are trying to align our practices with that. Please click here. That's the blue link. If here's not blue, let me know. I'll help you out. To submit an application for an exemption, if a member of your party meets our criteria, exemption requests must be completed by the end of the day, June the 15th. Today is the 12th. You don't have much time to apply. It's important to note that the number of exemptions will be a very small subset. Will largely be children under 12, and it will be less than 5% of guests to account for no-shows and other operational matters. Very smart by Carnival to make it just below 5% in case some people don't show up. You do not want that number getting above 5%, and they can't let that number get above 5%. And we cannot certainty on the total number of guests on board. They don't know exactly how many people will be on board for each sailing, so that we can determine the number of exemptions, but we are committed to moving as quickly as possible. Okay, so if you have a child under 12 or someone traveling with you under 12, please apply for that exemption process. I've heard of people who are cruising out of Texas in July. They have already heard back that the wait list is full, that they did not get it. And then I've heard that some people received a letter saying that we needed more information. And we're not telling you you're guaranteed to sail, but you're on the list, okay? So I really hope those families who plan to cruise will get to cruise, okay? Now, for those of you, and I printed this out too, for those of you sailing on the Vista and the Breeze in July, remember, month to month is so important. I have people ask questions. If you're asking questions in the comments, please reference what month you're cruising, because if you ask a question, the answer will vary based on what month you're cruising. But for those with the exemption process for July and August, Carnival sent a note to you yesterday, some of you, that said, notification to guests who have been granted the exemption will begin the week of June 21st. So not just on June 21st, it's the week of June 21st, and will be done in order of sailing date. So July the 3rd, July the 3rd cruise, you'll be notified first, the week of June 21st. If you're not selling, the Vista till, let's say, July the 24th, then it may be later in that week of June 21st. So I wanted to share that information with you because it is very specific and it does impact a lot of people who are part of our community. Now, let's move forward. We have so many different things to talk about. I'm going to try to make it quick, of course, but excursions for itineraries. Those of you cruising out of Texas and Florida know your itineraries. Some of you, your itineraries have changed, and we're starting to see excursions be made available to those new locations. I hope you enjoy your new locations. I know most of us say we don't care where the ship goes as long as we can get on board and it leaves. So look for new excursions. I want to just share something about excursions too. Carnival has not officially said that we can move about the port, okay, as we get to each port. It's going to be dependent on what port that you're in and what their local law is. John Hill did reference in several comments yesterday that you would be able to go, especially in Cozumel. But I want to just remind you that if you see an excursion on Carnival.com that you like and you would be happy with, you can go ahead and book it. If you change your mind on that excursion and you decide before you cruise or even when you're on the ship, but before you get to port, that you do not want to go on that excursion, you can cancel it for 100% refund. Okay, I don't say that so all the excursions are gone, but for those of you who have anxiety or are nervous that maybe we won't get to explore the port ourselves, you can always go ahead and book an excursion, and then if the news changes, you can indeed cancel. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. More excursions will be added in the weeks to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. Another good piece of good news from John Hill yesterday was that Carnival is restaffing all ships that are ready to go. Okay, there are some ships going to dry dock, but all ships that are ready to go and they're waiting on a date to resume, John Hill did share that they are restaffing those ships at 100% so that the ships would be ready and those crew could get the ships ready for passengers. That is awesome news for the months ahead as we enter into the fall. Okay, it's going to be a very busy fall season because of the pent-up demand, okay? And then we're going to have some surprises, okay? I hope that you follow Kendall Fire, who's going to be the cruise director on the Vista. She had a live video the day before yesterday, and there were so many surprises. First off, she took us inside the Vista, and After 15 months of not seeing inside a cruise ship, it was pretty neat to see inside the cruise ship. They were setting things up. At one point, she passes by the steakhouse, and literally the people that are going to be serving us in 3 weeks from today were in the steakhouse, working, getting things ready. And so it felt like the staff was getting ready for a party, and that's what I think it's going to be. But Kendall Fire shared some surprises. She hinted at some, but she shared others that just make me feel good, and I have to share with you. At one point, she was walking by the Ocean Plaza. Okay, she walked past Alchemy, she walked past Pixels, and she's at the Ocean Plaza. And she said, "Look at this." And she mentioned the carpet here was just replaced today. And you say, "Now, Derek, that's a small thing. The carpet's replaced." Come on, it is a small thing, but it's just there's something about it that's comforting. That Carnival is taking care of their ships. They want us to have the best experience. They replaced the carpeting, and she said even she could not go down to Havana. We would have loved to see Havana. My wife and I are staying there in July, but she said, "I can't take you down there because there are panels and things down from the ceiling," and that's probably due to all the work they're doing with the air filtration system. It could be work they're doing with Wi-Fi, and so it was just so encouraging and almost moving that Carnival, they are getting ready for us, and they are, if there's any work that can be done or needs to be done, they're literally doing the work right now. And so it's going to be so neat to see these ships in tip-top shape, ready to go for you and for me. And so it was neat. And she mentioned other surprises too. I think everyone has kind of assumed the muster drill is going to change, okay? The muster drill is going to be exciting to see. Will it be a online, on your phone, watch this before we leave? Will it be on your TV? We've heard so many different things. We've heard once you check in at the port and before you board that you can basically watch it and get it done before you even get on board. We will see what comes from it. It's going to be a surprise. We're excited to see. And as well, it's just going to be a whole new experience. We don't know what shows are coming back, how shows will look. So it's going to be a whole new experience with all kinds of surprises, is what she mentioned, and we're excited for it. Before we leave the island today, I want to just throw out some things that we are still waiting on. These are the unknowns. Of course, the first one, as we mentioned, families. There are so many of us that are excited to cruise, and there are still families that don't know if they're cruising yet. Okay, we will figure that out soon, as we mentioned the dates earlier in the show. Also, exact port protocols. We referenced that as well, but will there be ports that you can get off and walk around, and there's some ports that you can't get off? You have to do Carnival-only excursions. I really think Carnival's trying to avoid that second part, and that's why we've seen itinerary changes, because they want our cruise to be as normal as possible. They've made that clear. That's why we are vaccinated. But we'll see what exact port protocols are. We're so ready to see the islands. The embarkation process will look different. It's if you are a priority member, and that's either with your status level of platinum or diamond, or faster to the fun, or special casino sailings, you usually have priority on your luggage tags, and you will see that they are not there right now. We are not sure what the embarkation process will look like. We know that it's probably going to be the most pain point, the biggest pain point item of the whole cruise, which usually a lot of times it is anyway. But it will be different, and we will hear what exactly it's going to look like and what we have to do to get on the ship. It may be delayed some, may take longer, but it's going to be just fine because you and I are so ready to get on. Let's just enjoy the experience. Entertainment details. Some of them are unknown. We've had people ask us, will the same shows that were on board these ships before COVID be the same shows after? We're not sure. We know that Playlist Productions they're practicing right now. MacPack made that clear to us when we were in Port Canaveral last week, and he's actively engaged, and other cruise directors are as well in those shows. The piano bar entertainment schedule, John Hild said this morning, will be released very soon, within the next 48 hours, for those of you that like the piano bar. And comedians. The comedians are being announced. We've seen some of our comedians for July on the Vista. We cannot wait for the comedy shows. All that stuff is being announced very, very soon. So, and as well, we're not sure about the protocols for these shows. Like the Comedy Club is a tighter venue, and the big theaters they're large, but there's people, of course, a large number of people in there. We're all, just about all of us are vaccinated. So Can we take the mask off? We'll see what those protocols are. It was a big week. We learned so much, but there's so much more to go. We will be right here throughout the entire process. If you follow us, you know that's the case, okay? Our goal is only to share the news, the impacts, and use our decade of cruising to share what these protocols and news will actually look like on board. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions or comments, you already know, leave them. I will respond and interact with you. We thank you so much for being an Islander and part of the community, and we will see you either tomorrow or next week on Island Time.